Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Live Dive. I hope you're having a good week so far, and I hope you enjoyed the Sunday school lesson that we had about Enoch on Sunday. But before we dive into what we want to talk about today, I do have a couple of quick announcements. One of them deals with our Sunday school lesson on Sunday. We talked about integrity and how Enoch really displayed the notion of integrity, and I encouraged everybody that was there to post a verse on social media encouraging us in the group, The Bridge, as a group of believers to live with integrity. You can either post it on our Facebook page, of course, The Bridge, or you can go on Twitter, find our Twitter handle at TheBridge813, TheBridge813, or you can post it on your own Instagram account. Just be sure to hashtag The Bridge. And we've already had a couple of people that have posted on Facebook and Twitter some really awesome verses that I want you guys to take a look at. So you got till the end of the week to post your verse encouraging us to live with integrity. Also, another announcement, at the end of the month, the month of October, we got a really cool get-together I think we're going to enjoy. It's called An Eerie Evening at the Tampa Bay Hotel. Now, this takes place, this is at the University of Tampa campus in downtown Tampa, and it'll be taking place on October 28th, Saturday, October 28th. We'll be meeting up at the church, the First Free Will Baptist Church of Tampa at 5:30. Tickets are $25 a piece, and you have until October 15th, Sunday, October 15th, to turn in your $25 to me, or to please at least let me know by October 25th so we can get your ticket and get ready for that. Basically, we will be coming together. We'll go down to downtown Tampa to the University of Tampa campus, and it's going to be a really cool event where we go into the University of Tampa used to be an old hotel, and it has all sorts of old stories, different eerie things that happened, and they're going to tell stories about what's happened there, and it should be a lot of fun. I think you guys are going to like it. So let's go ahead and dive into what we're going to talk about today. You probably already know that we have been discussing really for the month of October the idea of men of integrity. But the past week, we've been talking mainly about Enoch, the man who was nowhere to be found. And we'll be wrapping up our topic of Enoch tonight by talking about your legacy. Your legacy. Now, I'll talk about what Enoch has to do with your legacy. Now, you know, last time that we talked, on Thursday, on our last live dive, we've talked about Enoch walking with God and what that means, walking with God. And Sunday, we talked more about Enoch walking with God and how that ties into integrity. And so, today, I want to continue that theme of integrity and how, again, that lines up with our legacy. See, we don't know much else about Enoch. We know that in Genesis chapter 5, verse 24, that he walked with God and that he didn't actually die. God took him up to heaven because of the life that he lived. And there's only one other person in the Old Testament that was recorded to not have died, but to actually have been taken up to heaven, and that was the prophet Elijah. Now, the New Testament, we actually see Enoch listed in the Hall of Faith chapter, Hebrews chapter 11, but there's actually one more reference to Enoch in the Bible, and it's found in the book of Jude. It's the second to last book of the Bible, and it's only one chapter, and in it, in Jude, it's only one chapter, and it's in verse 14, says this, "And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of thee, saying, Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000 of his saints." And I was thinking about this, how significant it actually is that Jude mentioned this man named Enoch. Now, it looks like that Jude, the writer of this of the book of Jude, obviously, probably got this quote from the book of Enoch, is what it's called. As many scholars will tell you that Enoch actually wrote a book himself. But this is what I find really interesting, really significant about Jude mentioning Enoch in his book. Here's the thing. The book of Genesis, it was written at least 1,500 years before the book of Jude, at least 1,500 years. So here is Enoch. We don't know much about him, but we know that he walked with integrity, and yet his legacy that was left behind was big enough, was important enough for a man that lived over 1,500 years later to mention him. And so what I'm just going to say for you today is that how do you want yourself to be remembered? What do you want your legacy to be? See, if you live a life of integrity, if you live a life where you're walking with God on a daily basis, you know what? Your legacy is going to be a lot bigger than you realize. Even if you think that God has called you to something that isn't necessarily glamorous, or you don't think that, you're going to be making a big name for yourself, you really don't know that. And really, the legacy that you're going to be leaving behind will be incredibly important whether the world thinks so or not. I highly doubt that a lot of the world remembered who Enoch was, but Jude did. And now, because of Jude, we see that Enoch is mentioned in both the Old Testament and the New Testament because of his integrity. And so tonight, I encourage you to think about the legacy you're leaving behind. Even at the age that we're at now, where we're still in college or we're still trying to figure out life, also think about the legacy that you're going to be leaving behind. And it'll pay dividends not only for you, but also for your children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren. They will remember that you were a person that walked with God and that you were a person of integrity. Anyway, thanks so much, guys, for listening and watching to tonight's live dive. I hope you enjoyed it. Please have a good rest of the week. Come back on Thursday as we talk about another man of integrity, and I'm excited to be sharing with you about that over the next few days. Be sure to stay tuned to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for the latest updates on the bridge, but until next time, have a good night.